Hi all, now I'm going to show you what is OSI model and how the OSI model works. First of all, what is OSI model? It is an open system interconnection. What is it is for? When two devices want to communicate with each other, there is certain process or layout in which in order to transfer data from one device to another, that has been given in the forms of layers. That is what a OSI model deals with. Just look at it. See here, there are totally 7 layers in OSI. First, we just deal with the layer 1, which is nothing but a physical layer. The physical layer which just deals with directly physical connected, maybe cables, wires, which just transmits a signal in the form of electrical signals. It might be transmitted in, it will be given in the units of bits, zeros and ones, electrical signals. That's it about a physical layer. And next layer, which is a data link layer. A data link layer is a place where the Ethernet frames lives. The unit given here is of frames, and what we can see in the data link layer is a MAC, that is a NIC card or a wireless adapter, what will be the adapter that you are using for data transmission, that deals with the data link layer. Next is the network layer. What is a network layer? Here is a process that want to communicate with the inter-network. That is, when you want to communicate from one network to the another network, we need a network layer. This layer plays a major role in that place. Here is a where the packets live, the IP packet pings, whatever the request that we are giving. In layer 3 it works. Next we move on to the layer 4, which is nothing but a transport layer. When two devices need to communicate, they need compulsorily a layer called as a transport layer. It may be TCP or UDP. The unit that is being used in the transport layer is called as a segmentation. Next we move on to the session layer. Session layer, what is it mainly used for? It helps to establish, manages and terminate a connection. Suppose if you are opening 2 or 3 sessions about a particular web page, let's take it as a Google. If you are taking a google.com, Google and 3 tabs in a browser Google page, and suppose if you want to close any one of the tab, it should not be affect the other tabs. So it should not affect the other tabs. This is the main role of the session layer. Next we are going to see about a presentation layer. Presentation layer is nothing but how we are going to view the image that is being given, in which format it is going to represent us. It's been in the base of presentation layer. For example, if you are going to view it in a JPEG format, PDF or MPEG or ASCII or MP4, what will be the formats that we are viewing, that is being based on the presentation layer. And the upper layer and the topmost layer is the application layer, and it is the layer to which a user interacts. Suppose if you want to open any of the web page, or if you want to connect to a server something, this layer is the one that which a user communicates. Some of the examples are HTTP, FTP server, SNMP, secure HTTP, whatever it be. These all deals with the application layer. That's it about the basics of OSI model. To be clear about how it works means, just go into this. First, suppose if a user wants to Google it. Suppose if he is going to a browser and type as Google. Yeah, if he is going to type as google.com here, it will be HTTPS. This layer is the layer, the application layer is the one where he types it, and then some of the images that is being displaying to him. Let's take it as it to be as a JPEG format. Some images or some of the formats that might be displaying to him. It deals with the presentation layer. And then next, if you move on to the session layer, suppose if he is opening any other Google page, another Google page in the next tab. Suppose if he's been searching something, or the same thing is for other references like that, if he's been searching in the sense, suppose if he closing this tab, suppose if he don't want the first tab that is being opened, he plan to close this tab. Suppose this tab is being closed, the Google server that has been the server that is being used to reach, and the session layer from here, it should have to maintain a session that is the only the concerned tab should be closed and the other tab should not be closed. That is, this only particular session should have to be closed. Suppose if he's been closing this, only this session should be closed, not this session. This session should not be closed. If suppose this session closed, means there is some issue with the session layer of the OSI model here. And this session layer is mainly used to establish, manages and terminate session. That means it has to be managing a session. Whichever the session that we want to terminate, that session only has to be terminated, not any other session. If suppose it has been other pages gets terminated, means there's no issue in the session layer. So the only the particular session should has to be terminated. That's the it being in the role of a session layer. Next we just move on to the transport layer. The transport layer is the one which helps to transport a data. It may be in reliable or unreliable form. TCP is a reliable and UDP is an unreliable, which we deals with another video session. Next, after getting to a transport layer, all this packet, all the application layer will be put on to the transport layer, and all the transport layer will be put on to the transport layer. In the transport layer, in the sense in which format, in TCP or UDP, and then the transport layer data will be put on to the network layer. All the transport layer data will be put on to the network layer in the form of packets. So which all the data is to be packeted, and the IP address, and what is the source address and destination address, what is the time to leave, what all the packets that the IP packet have will be put onto it, and then it will be given to the Ethernet frames. And Ethernet frames is the one which contains all the details, and then it will check for what are the errors will be there. To be deals about a data link layer, there are two sub layers in the data link layer, which we call it as a MAC and a LLC, which we call as a MAC and a LLC, MAC layer and LLC layer. How we can gain MAC is nothing but, suppose if we need to reach any certain data or whatever thing, it has to be have access. This port has to be access. If this port has been blocked to the certain access or what it be, that has to be clear here. That is what giving a computer can gain access to transfer data for any particular direction. So to be in the MAC, and another sublayer is called as a logical link control. This is the layer that deals with if any of the frames gets error, or if any of the frames get debug or something, or for synchronization, all the errors it will be checked here, and if no errors are found, it will be processed to the physical layer. And then the physical layer is the one which transmits the data to the other end through cables, or that's it. And the other end, the remote session, this process is totally for encryption. This process totally do for encryption, and the other end will decrypt the entire process of packet, and then whatever request we are getting, that request will be sent to us. This is the way that the OSI model works. And one more thing, this three layers are referred to as the application based layer. This is where the user can deals with it, and this is called to be as a transport layer, and the last three layers which is referred to as a network part. This is where then we deal with network part. And that's it. This is the way the OSI model works with. In the next video, we just sees about what is the difference between OSI and TCP model. Thanks for watching. Until next time.